Okay, have you ever wanted to make an ebook, but you don't really have the know-how and you're not published and you're not going to put it on Amazon maybe, but you want to be able to have it in that kind of a format? You can do that using Google Slides. I would never have thought of this, but I saw it on Casey Bell's Shake Up Learning that I'm subscribed to, that if you're not subscribed to, you should be. Great, tons of ideas, podcasts, interactions, classes, certifications, information, all kinds of stuff. So that's where this idea comes from, is how to create an ebook with Google Slides. I adapted that a couple of different ways, and I'm going to show you how to do it and then what I did. If you're interested, this is where the idea came from. In Google Slides, you want to create a new blank set of slides. And the first thing you want to do to get this to look like a book is to change the page layout and the orientation of it all. Right now, this is landscape. It looks like a set of slides. It's going to present like a PowerPoint or a set of slides, which is totally fine. But if we want this to look like a book, and we have that idea in mind, what you want to do is go up here to File, and then you're going to go down to Page Setup, down almost to the very bottom of your choices here in File. The default is this widescreen 16:9, which absolutely works. You can change it to standard 4:3 or widescreen 16:10, depending on what you're going to be presenting on. For us, if we're going to make an ebook, I'm going to go to Custom. We're going to set this to the size of a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11. And when you do that, I'm going to leave it at inches, but notice you could change it some other ways as well. When you do that, you'll hit Apply, and suddenly you have the beginnings of your ebook. You can pick whatever theme it was you were going to pick. You can move around and do whatever kinds of layouts you wanted to do. All the layouts are still here, all the possibilities, everything you know from looking at anything else with your slides. But now this begins to look like a book. And when you print it, it looks like thumbnails of that book if you're printing in handout view like we've talked about before. Or you can do what I'm in the process of doing. If we go back to the master screen of all the slides, I'm creating an ebook for a team that I coached this year. I wanted them to have some of the pictures that I took at each of our meets and the results and the pictures from the Christmas party. And so I struggled with how to do this. I didn't just want to put it on a piece of paper that they were going to lose. I didn't want to put it in something that I was going to have to print a million of. And what I came up with in a flash of brilliance that I hope they like is the idea that I could put it in as an ebook. So I've got the schedule for this season, the picture and the results from each of the meets that we went to, a couple of spots for special recognition for some of the people on our team who always stepped up and were known for some of their quirks. But here's what it looks like right now. Just as an example of what you can do with that idea of how to create an ebook in Google Slides. And I can do several things with this. I can show it up on the screen. If we have another end of the year meeting, I can share it in Google Drive to everybody who was on the team with view access so that they can see it, that they have it in their Google Drive as long as they have their Google account. I can also go in and print thumbnail views of it so that I've got 4 or 8 or 10 or 12 slides on a page so that they could see it in a smaller view, or so we could display it with our trophies in the trophy window. So this is what it looks like. Here's a title. And again, I used all the things we know how to do. I put in pictures the way we know how to insert images. I inserted a chart a couple of places. I used word art, I believe, or I meant to. I also got into the master slide and changed what the title slide was going to look like and what the fonts were going to be. I changed my mind a couple of times on that, but I had all of those features. It's going to work just like a set of slides, but it's going to look like an ebook. So I did the table of contents last, which I highly recommend because things take shape as you're working on them. Here was a design for our shirt. Here was our schedule and where we went and what the results were. I put in a spot to put in a dedication to them. This is my first year as their coach. Some of us are first year to do Knowledge Bowl, so I want to be sure and acknowledge that. And then I've got pictures from each of the meets because I am that person who goes around taking a picture. I have a group shot or the group that won at each of them. We had a little Christmas party, so I got some pictures from that. But we can commemorate the people who were on that team because the team changed every week. can look at all the things that they were able to accomplish and some of the silliness and ways that we did the things that we did. I use gradient backgrounds because that's my default setting, but I've got all of those pieces in. I've got special recognition that's in progress. I need to work with the fonts and stuff. I put in a by the numbers summary, how many meets, how many plaques we brought home, how many bus trips there were that I drove for, how many times we went to the steakhouse because we went a lot. I can also put in a closing slide and have the end. But this is how to make an ebook. And it's going to present just like you would present anything else. I should really start at the beginning, shouldn't I? So here's our ebook. If we wanted to go through, I've inserted transitions. I didn't get fancy with the animations again because I wanted to be able to put this in and print it off like it was a book. But here's everybody and kind of a recap of the season that I hope they really enjoy and I hope gives you some ideas for making your own ebook.